Hi, I'm ViolaGoodacre, and this is my CHIP 690 final project, the visualization of diabetes test results with Smart on FHIR. So the goal of this project was to select a patient and view their diabetes test results as a time series. I developed it using WebStorm, and you can see here my GitHub link to take a look at my code. And I also threw in a Smart Health IT launch.html. This is actually a standalone website, but I kind of threw that in just in case you wanted to have a look at it in Smart Health IT. So the first thing I did was I got a list of patients who had diabetes, either type and pre-diabetes, and I needed to choose a set of codes. ChatGPT came up with this list of different types, and so I used this set of SNOMED codes to select my patients. And for the tests for diagnosing diabetes and pre-diabetes, I used LoinC. And if you want to give this a go, you can just go to my web page and you can see the link there. And if you want to try it in the Smart Health IT launcher, I've also provided here a URL for that. And there are a lot of patients when you load the data, so I've just listed a few which have more than one test result, which you might want to choose to take a look at. So now, without any further ado, let's go and take a look at the web page. So here I am in a web browser, and you can see that I have an empty area here and a select a patient. So for the select a patient, this is a combo box. I can click on it and a list of patients come up. I can also type in it. So I'm going to go and type FRANK because I know that there is a Frank Taylor, and I'm just going to click on him. And then another box comes up which is the same, where I can type in or I can use a drop down, and there's only two test results for Frank Taylor, so there's kind of no point in typing. I'm going to say glucose test. And you can say that I get up here some information about Frank's diagnosis, the code that we used in the system the code comes from. Asserted is the assertion date for when he was first diagnosed, and onset is a date of onset which can be different from the assertion date. And the status of Frank's condition is active. And you can see down here that the values are in milligrams per deciliter, I think. And then we have the dates along the bottom, and we have a high level and a low level, and that tells us what the normal range is. And you can see that Frank has dipped over the normal range on the odd occasion. So we can just mouse over and we will see the details of each actual data point. And I'll just pick another one just to show you somebody else. Let's do Robbie Armstrong. And same again, the view clears. Now it looks like Robbie's only got an A1C test. And so we can take a look at Robbie's A1C test. So that's pretty much it. It's as simple as that. And so now we can kind of head back to the PowerPoint again, and we can talk about this a little bit more. So now that you've seen the app, I'd like to go over some problems and how I resolve them, and also some improvement ideas. One problem was that the server only returns limited result sets at a time because of paging. And this kind of makes sense normally, but I wanted to get as many patients as possible, mainly because there seemed to be a lack of patients with more than one test. So I needed to kind of get quite a few patients to maximize the chance of getting some with multiple tests. So the solution was that I actually paged through and collected all the patients using recursion. So you can see here in yellow, I've underlined the request patient observations. This is an example. There's more than one recursion in the entire app. And you can see down here how I recursed it. I went and I got the next link, which is actually part of the FHIR specification, to link to the next page. And I just recursed down. And you can see here that I'm kind of keeping track of the recursions as well for error reporting. So by solving the previous problem, by having a large amount of patients to choose from, I introduced the problem of the patient combo box's search functionality stopped working. And this seemed to be just because of the large number of items in this combo box. It couldn't handle it. So the solution for this was simply to, rather than give the combo box every single patient, let it go off and ask for it and a set of patients as it needed to. And this eased it up and solved the problem so that the search functionality was working again. So another problem was the whole issue of the coding system and how to navigate which codes are best to use. And I actually spent most of my time on this when doing this project, because we have SNOMED and we have ICD, and I chose SNOMED codes mainly because that's where my research is, and I wanted to get to know them a little bit better anyway. But then there's also the issue of top-level codes not pulling in descendants automatically, and even if they did, and it also, if you put in multiple codes which are similar to one another, you might end up with duplicates. There's those sorts of things. And then I found also that there were a lot of codes which were type 2 diabetes with this complication, type 2 diabetes with another complication, etc. And so you could kind of go on forever. And I ended up just putting in a whole load of codes. But a better solution would be to automatically include descendants with parent codes and just have an idea of what parent codes to use. Although this would pull in a large number of patients, I would imagine. But I'm going to come and talk about this again later. So I'm going to move on to the next item. And the next item is to go over some improvement ideas. So what I do is to move the information area, that is where I put the condition details of the patient, to just move that to the side, either to the right or to the left, and to display the condition information when the patient is first selected, not when the test type is selected. So just move the populating of that slightly earlier. And also to add to that some more patient information, so some demographics about the patient as well. And also it's kind of a very white minimalistic chart, and so it would be quite nice to make it more aesthetically pleasing, give it a bit of colour maybe, and to have some user feedback for errors as well. I have a little bit of user feedback for errors, but it would be nice to have a bit more. In addition to that, I want to talk about the use of value sets for automatically fetching child codes rather than hard coding it. I kind of mentioned this in the previous slide, and I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit. And also, I did say earlier that I included the launch.html, but it is a standalone web page really. And what would be cool would be if, when you go to Smart Health IT and select a patient, you're viewing that particular patient. But then when you're on a web page, a standalone web page, you've got the patient drop down. So it'd be kind of cool if it kind of diverged depending on where you're viewing it. So a little bit more about the fetching descendants automatically. I looked into value sets, and I had a go at creating value sets, and automatically fetching the children, you can see there that there's a thing that says opt descendant of, which is supposed to recurse down and get the children as well. This actually just returned, I didn't get any errors, but it returned with 0 entries. So really, I think I'd need to play with the concept, check other ways of doing it, see if this is actually the correct way of doing it, because just because I didn't get errors, it doesn't mean it's right. And also to just see if I need different codes, possibly. Maybe try it in ICD-10 as well. So if I had more time, this would have been an extension that I would have played with a little bit. And the other thing that I did have a little bit of a go at, but didn't fully resolve, is the use of the Smart Health IT patient launcher to view the actual Smart Health IT patient that has been selected. So to do this, it was quite simple. It was just to try and use a patient if I have a patient, and if I don't have a patient, request patients. And this actually did work. And but the problem is that downstream I have some custom data structures and some code that would really need to be refactored for it to work fully. But the actual dichotomizing of it into Smart Health IT launcher and standalone website, this aspect did actually work. But if I was to have more time, I would have expanded on this and played with it a little bit, because that would have been fun. And this last slide is just a list of some of the things that I learnt during this course. Very much improved my JavaScript skills, and I'd never come across JS Fiddle until this course, or for Smart on FHIR. So I learnt a lot, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you very much.